I am so glad you convinced me that the family car should be the Defender 110. It is so beautiful inside, it's so comfortable, and it just feels indestructible.
Yes, it really is. I've been waiting a long time for the new model to come out. The Defender 110, I'm telling you, it's my favorite car of all times. It's my third one. You know, I have stories of going off-road. The guy managed the group. He was like, what are you doing in this beautiful car? I'm like, I'm going off-road. He's like, are you sure? Because you can use one of ours. And then they look like Mad Max cars. I'm like, no, we're going to do this. And he was shocked.
Wow. Well, it's great because the Defender has been reimagined for 21st century adventure, and its unparalleled off-road ability, as well as its robust interior, are invaluable whether you're headed towards uncharted territory or just a weekend of exploration. The Defender 110 tackles challenging surroundings with absolute confidence. The SUV conveys strength outside and in, featuring peerless technology like an intuitive driver display and an award-winning infotainment system. That's my favorite part, to keep you connected no matter where the journey takes you. Adventure is unique to everyone, and so is the Defender. Choose from the two-door Defender 90, the four-door Defender 110, or the larger Defender 130 with the ability to seat up to 8 passengers. You'll find uncompromising performance in all three. So pack up and go even further with the Defender 110. Learn more at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender.
Sometimes it takes a different approach to help you unlock your true potential. Capella University's game-changing FlexPath format helps you learn at your own pace and fit earning a degree into your life. From before you enroll to after you graduate, you'll be supported by people who are invested in your success so you can pursue your goals knowing that help is available if you need it. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu. And this is your point in the book that free will itself is kind of a myth. I mean, we already know that a lot of cognitive biases that we have no control over shape our decisions, but we still think we have largely more control over them than they have over us. But your point is that with data, we'll be able to analyze, well, what music triggers what parts of the brain, what images trigger what, the sales or greed parts of the brain, and so on. So that the first level is kind of data used for advertising, but the second level might be data used for much more insidious decision-making.
Yes. If you get to know a person well enough, if you get to know a person better than that person knows himself or herself.
And that's even on the inside, how the brain works and everything.
And, people know so very little about themselves, both on the biological level, certainly, how many people really understand their brains, but even on the psychological level, on the mental level. We have an entire profession of therapists who are just trying to help us get in touch with ourselves because it's so difficult. And if you go and practice something like meditation, then at least when I started practicing meditation, I was struck by how little I know. I know almost nothing about my mind. And, we have this myth of free will, which in a way serves as a curtain that hides the reality about ourselves, that actually dampens our curiosity. Because if you really believe in the myth of free will, my desires reflect my freedom. I chose these desires. I chose everything that I do. Then you know everything. You understand yourself. You understand your desires. You know where they are coming from. There is nothing to investigate. But once you realize, no, my desires don't reflect my free will. They reflect all kinds of processes on the biological level, on the psychological level, which I don't understand. Then you start being very curious about yourself. And I think that, in the 20th century, in throughout history, this advice to people, get to know yourself better, this was always very good advice, that you don't really know necessarily why you want this or why you want that. But for all of history, though you had all these Socrates and Buddha and Freud telling people, know yourself, if you said, nah, I can't be bothered about it, you didn't have competition. Still, you were a black box to the rest of humanity. So it wasn't such a disadvantage not to know yourself. But now in the 21st century, what you need to realize, you have real competition this time. It's not like in the days of Socrates. If you don't get to know yourself better, there is somebody out there who is right now trying to hack you, and not just one. Amazon is trying to hack you, and Google is trying to hack you, and Coca-Cola is trying to hack you, and the Russians, and the American government, and the Chinese, they are all trying to hack you right now.
Right, and there's different layers. So for instance, Amazon's trying to hack you in the sense of, okay, Yuval bought this, and our AI and our data about people similar to Yuval show that he will probably buy this next.
Yes.
And so that's what they'll start to show you. And then maybe 5 years from now, they'll send it to you yesterday what you were going to buy tomorrow.
Yes.
What's the next insidious level of that? So that's kind of almost a good thing. When does it start to get darker?
Well, it's first they sell you a product. And it really started with selling products, all these methods. But now these methods are also being used to sell you politicians, which is a bit more insidious than selling people products. The next step is to start manipulating your desires instead of just fulfilling them. Yes, he wants this, but we can actually make him want that instead. And then it really becomes kind of the twilight zone. That if you realize that actually my desires, they do not reflect my free will, they reflect a more and more sophisticated system of manipulation, then what can I trust if I cannot trust my own inner, most authentic desires and wishes? And again, this was a problem throughout history. Throughout history, if you really looked hard, you would have realized that many of your desires, they come either from biological bugs or from cultural manipulations and propaganda and so forth. But still, you were in a privileged position. Nobody out there could really understand you better than you understand yourself.
So you're saying like things like nationalism, or to an extreme fascism, or on the other side liberalism, or before that religion, were different man-made stories to potentially take control of your free will in a way that the kings or whoever could control. But now it's with digitalism, for lack of a better word, it could get deeper. They actually can get inside of you in ways that you can't say no to.
Exactly, simply because they understand the biology better, they understand the brain better, they have better devices to monitor what's happening there, and they are going to have better devices to change what is going on there. So what you tried to do 1,000 years ago with the priest preaching from the pulpit, you will be able to do in a far more invasive way in 10 or 50 years with all kinds of brain-computer interfaces and direct biological interventions. So it's not new.
What do you mean by direct biological intervention?
As you understand the biological system better, you can, like with every system, once you understand how the system works, you can start changing it in more and more ways.
Wait, don't go yet. I just want to remind all the writers, and basically everybody, because you're all writers at heart, that you can get the ultimate guide to self-publishing right now at jamesaltucher.com/publish. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has something unique to say and share. Doesn't matter if it's with 10 million people or your descendants or your local community and friends or 500 people in your profession. You have a book inside of you. So get your copy of The Ultimate Guide to Self-Publishing right now. It's totally free. Get it right now to get my top tips on everything from writing to maximizing your revenue and whatever else you need to know about self-publishing. That's jamesaltucher.com/publish.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power, so How do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing, and of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/advance. That's oracle.com/advance. oracle.com/advance.